Okay. Guys, listen, we need to focus in on here because it seemed to me that on the grades, a lot of kids stayed more or less about where they were last time. We didn't get a lot of improvement. Now, I think part of the reason for that is because it was a Monday and we missed class yesterday and the day before. So I do believe that if we are able to follow along today, we'll see that pickup in grades come tomorrow. So,
You should live stream on YouTube. Yeah. On Twitch.
I'm recording it and it'll be put up on,
No, on live stream.
yeah, we're not gonna live stream it. That doesn't serve any purpose. Okay, one number is 7 more than 3 times a number. So we talked the other day about the importance of reading the question the first time, just reading it through to get a feel for what it is we're talking about here. Rena, you with me? One number is 7 more than 3 times another number. The sum of the two numbers is 39. Find both numbers. And one of the questions I asked was, every time you read a problem, you have to ask yourself, very beginning, one of the first things you ask yourself, how many numbers are in the problem? 2. It says, what's the last thing it says? Read the last 3 words.
Find both numbers.
Find both numbers. So how many numbers does there have to be?
2.
2. So, one number, other number. You could say small number, big number. You could say first number, second number. It doesn't really matter, as long as you're somehow differentiating between the two numbers. Now, Marco, what do we want to let the first number be, everybody? X, N, doesn't matter, call it N. Okay. Now, the other number is 7 more than 3 times the first number. So how do I write 7 more than 3 times? So there's got to be a plus in there. Go ahead.
7 plus 3.
Yeah, I'd prefer it to be 3n plus 7. There's this idea with more than and less than that we switch the order. The last shall be first, the first shall be last. So the 3n goes in the beginning, the 7 goes at the end. So I get 3n plus 7. Now, if you wrote 7 plus 3n, you could still get full credit. It wouldn't affect the answer. The problem is if it was a minus. If it was a minus, it would really mess things up. Now, after you use something, cross it out. How many people used it and crossed it out on their paper? Look on your paper. Is there a cross out on your paper? I've got 4 hands up in the room. Now, yeah, 5. We've been working that. You should be better on that. Now, next. Marco, gotta focus here. Here's where a lot of people made their mistakes. Justice, I think you made a mistake here. I would say more than half of the class made a mistake here. You want to know what people wrote next? A lot of people wrote some version of 7 plus 3n or 3n plus 7 equals 39. Now, equals 39 is good. But it doesn't say the one number equals it. What does it say? It says the sum of the two numbers. So that means I have to add the 2 numbers. So I got to add this guy and this guy. So there's my first number, and there's my second number. In other words, my first number plus my second number has to be 39. Now I can cross that out. And now I can begin to solve the problem. Is this the same side or an opposite side situation? Same side. So 1n plus 3n is 4n. Nothing to combine with the plus 7 equals 39 minus 7, die. 4n is equal to 32. Divide by 4. N equals 8. Now, William, yeah, if you don't have work supporting it, you're going to lose credit. William got 8, and I want to think maybe it was Marco.
Yeah.
And there might even be 1 or 2 other. Jalen, what does the last 3 words say?
Find both.
Find what? Both numbers.
Oh.
So you did a great job getting the 8. Here it is. The other number is 3 times 8 plus 7, which is 31. So you needed both the 8 and the 31. And then I got very excited with Kayla's paper because she had, I think, the 8 and the 31. Didn't you have them both? And then she lost points on the next one. I was like, yes, she's going to get 100. And then,
I would have got 100, but
yes.
On that, well, I don't really know. I just wrote, like, some way I expressed it, but I got 35 and 4, and I didn't, like, I added the extra 4 on top of it.
Yeah, but even 35 and 4 does come out to 39, but then 1 is not 7 more than 3 times the other.
I know, the way I wrote it, kind of,
All right. Now, let's go to the second part of this. Now, by the way, I consider that first question to be a challenging question. On a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being a really hard question, and 5 being a 1 being a really easy question and 5 being a really hard question, I think that's about a 4, a 3.5 to a 4. So if you can learn to get that question right, you're doing really, really well. All right, let's take a look at number 2. One thing I was super happy about as I looked around the room, so many people, Michael did it, Jason did it, I think Lizbeth did it. So many people realized that they had to distribute. So on their paper, I saw 4x minus 20. That's a great start, okay? And then, of course, we still have the plus x plus 3 is 23. Now, Michael, the second step you have to take is you always have to ask yourself, is it same side or opposite side? What is it? I'm sorry? No, it's same. See, when I say that, what I mean is I'm going to draw a wall at this equal sign. See my imaginary wall? Okay? Are the letters on the same side or on the opposite sides of that wall? They're on the same side, aren't they? Now, this is, I think the problem is for lots of kids that they look at a question like this and they start thinking, like they start to panic and they think about what can go wrong instead of trying to keep it simple. The most important thing you can realize about math is the simpler you keep it, the easier it is. Mike, if you have $4 and $1, what do you have? I didn't hear. 5 what? Good. If you have 4 chocolate chip cookies, this is my language here, and 1 chocolate chip cookie, what do you have?
10.
5 chocolate chip cookies. Good. So if I have 4 X's and 1 X, what do I have? 5X. And then if I have, now this is the part where a lot of kids in class messed up. Watch me here. You've got to focus, everybody across the board, not everybody, but almost everybody. What kind of 20 is this?
A negative.
Oh.
And what kind of 3 is this?
Positive.
So they're combinable, but 20 negatives and 3 positives is negative 17. Now, some people did 2 steps, and that's okay too. But you're better off combining your numbers just like you combined your letters. Equals 23, add 17, die. 5x equals 40, divide by 5, yep, x is
There we
8.
go.
Now, you'll notice that this is not a word problem, so you don't have to go back and find anything else. Alan, I told you really early on, not just you, but everybody in the class, that the state says very specifically, if you get the answer right, and you don't have you do not have, no, we're not trial and error, we're using algebra. And you don't have the steps shown, that you get only half credit. In fact, you actually get less than half credit. I'm giving you half as a nice guy. All right, anything else? All right, so that's how we do our quiz, and, oh man, I hit the print button.
Number 2
All right,
and 3.
so what I think is really important to understand, guys, I'm hearing this mumbling going on that I shouldn't. What is very important to understand is the greatness of the YouTube video website. If you had any difficulty with this, then I suggest that you work things out a little bit and go watch that video at home, and I think it'll really help you.
I watch before I go to bed, so it really gets in my brain.
There you go, excellent, very good, and I think it shows. Marco's a kid who would profess to you that up until this year, you've always stunk at math, right?
Yeah.
And what'd you just get on that quiz?
90.
And generally, his grades have been very good. Okay, so now, let's take a look at this next question, number 2. We're gonna do numbers 2 and 3, and then we're gonna go to today's lesson. Number 2 says Billy cuts 84, cuts an 84-inch long piece of 2x4 lumber into 2 pieces. One piece is twice as long as the other. So, I'm gonna write down my little box, okay? And I'm gonna go first piece, and then I'm gonna go what? Second piece, good. So this is from Friday's sheet. I wanna get these 2 things done, okay? First sheet, first piece, second piece. Now, whenever I'm gonna start and I don't know what something is, I always begin by calling it X or N. So I'm gonna call it X, okay? Are you looking for yesterday's sheet?
Yeah.
Now, the second piece, it says here, one piece is twice as long as the other. How do I write with algebra twice, or 2 times as big? 2x, because the first one's x, the next one's twice as big, which is 2x. This is the importance of the setup, setting up the table. And what this allows you to do is really straighten out your thought process. Who's a blonde here?
Her?
I was.
No. she's
Justice.
natural.
Justice, there's two guys in a boat, okay? Pete and Repeat. Now, they're going across the bay, riding along in the boat, and Pete, he's kind of a show-off, okay? So as he's going across the bay, he sees this boat of pretty girls. And he gets up on the back of his boat, and he's like, da-na-na-na-na-na, na-na-na-na-na, and they hit a wave. And Pete, he falls out the back of the boat. Who's left in the boat?
It sounds like.
Repeat.
All right, look, you got two guys in a boat, all right? There's Pete and there's Repeat. They're going across the bay, and now Pete, he's a little bit of a Weisenheimer.
Yeah.
So he gets up on the engine, right? He's going, na-na-na-na-na, na-na-na-na-na, and he sees this boat, because he's showing off for the boat load of pretty girls. And then they hit a wave and Pete falls out the back. So who's left in the boat?
Repeat.
Okay, look, there's two guys in a boat. There's Pete and there's Repeat, okay? They're going across the bay. Pete, he's a bit of a show-off. So he sees this boat load full of pretty girls. So he gets up on top of the engine and he's surfing the boat like da-na-na-na-na-na, na-na-na-na-na, and they hit a wave. Now, when they hit the wave, Pete falls out the back of the boat. Who's left in the boat?
Repeat. I don't get
All right, look, there's two guys in a boat.
You said there's repeat on the boat. So who-
Do you know, when I was a sophomore, in-
I gotta.
when I was a sophomore in college, I dated a girl who was a senior in college, and she had blonde hair. Her name was Carol Wallace, and I told her that joke, and she was really smart, and she took like 18 times to figure out what the issue was with that joke. Justice, have you figured it out yet?
No.
You sure? All right, now.
Say no. I don't get it.
It's kind of like that with this. Sometimes I feel the same way with this particular math problem. Hey,
Oh,
ahem,
now I got it.
I have been grading these tests now for 30 years. And when kids do this, they focus on this part about being twice as long, and they'll come over here and they'll go 2x equals 84. That's 2. And then they'll go, okay, let me divide by 2, and I get x is 42. That's what kids do all the time, and it's completely wrong.
You better go to professional.
See, 2x is just one of the pieces. But there's two pieces that add up to the whole length. So you have to learn to set this table up. Rather than rush into the problem, the first thing you need to do is ask yourself, how many numbers am I talking about? In this problem, how many pieces am I talking about? I'm talking about two pieces. Mike head in the game, bud. I'm talking about two pieces. As soon as I'm talking about two pieces, let me set up my little table here. First piece, second piece. We always begin, the first piece is always x or n or whatever you want to call it. And then it says the second piece is twice as long as the other. So there's my 2x. So now I've used all this information when I write down that the x plus the 2x has to equal 84. I'm sorry. Now it's just the same size situation. What's 1x plus 2x? Guys, 1x and 2x? 3x is 84. And then I divide by 3. And I'm going to get that x is equal to 28. So my first piece is 28, whatever, centimeters, inches, whatever it is. And 2 times 28 is 56, and those are the two lengths, 28 and 56. So what we've been trying to focus on with you guys for the last couple of days is as follows. We're trying to get you guys to realize that first when you read the problem, you have to ask yourself, how many numbers are we talking about? And go get the sheet. And then the second thing you're gonna ask yourself is, Marco, stop. The second thing you're gonna ask yourself is, how do I set it up and how do I get it going? So let's use those ideas on the next problem. This is a very classic kind of algebra question that kids who take algebra have been doing for many, many, many years.
Who's the best algebra student?
Find two consecutive integers such that twice the first and the second is 25. Find the number. Now, as you read through that, we just read it once, read through it again and tell me how many numbers are we talking about? Mike? I'm sorry? Stretching, okay. How many numbers are we talking about, Rena? No,
25.
2. How did you know 2? Right, look, right here, Rena. Find 2 consecutive integers. So that means we're talking about 2 integers. Okay, let me set up my box. First consecutive integer. Second consecutive integer. I'm gonna let you guys catch up. Go ahead. That says CONS period INT, short for consecutive integer. Question?
You did PE for 30 years, right?
Yes.
Why didn't you get a professional degree? You could have had like an excellent job.
I happen to think I do have an excellent job. If it was all about, if you're trying to suggest I could have made more money elsewhere, that's true.
Yeah.
But I don't get paid poorly at all. I'm not rich, but I'm not poor. And I do believe that I feel a great sense of purpose in what I do. And I'm okay with that. All right, so here's the thing. What do we always let the first integer be when we don't know what it is? Everybody? N, X, the variable, whatever you want to say. I'm going to go with X. Now, this whole thing about consecutive integer, I find that a little confusing. Do you find that a little confusing? Consecutive integer? Well, let's work through this. Ready? Uni, what's your favorite number? 22? I have never had a kid say 22 before, but okay. 22 it is. What's the next consecutive integer after 22? 23. How did you get from 22 to 23? Add 1. So if my first consecutive integer is x, what do I have to do to get to the next consecutive integer? Everybody?
Add X.
Not add x, add 1. So this guy's going to be x plus 1. Now, in all honesty, is there anybody here who feels that was really, really hard? The truth is, it's not. Marco, man, you got to turn your knees and face them forward, because what happens is, you're like, don't take this the wrong way, and I know you can take it the right way. You're like taking a dog for a walk. And it's like the dog smells the ground. And it does everything except listen to you. So it's like, pee, I got to go pee on top of that pee. And you're like looking around like, what can I pay attention to other than math? There it is. I'll go look over there. Now, find two consecutive integers. I did that. Such that twice the first. What's the first guy?
X.
X. How do I write twice x? 2x. Twice the first guy. I did that piece. And the second. What's the second one?
Oh, X plus 1.
Plus x plus 1. What's the next thing I write?
Equals 25.
Equals 25. So, I'll bet you when you first read that, you were like, oh my God, I hate this crap. This is driving me crazy. Who cares about consecutive integers?
Me.
But then, when you start reading through and breaking it down, you say, ain't so bad. This ain't so bad. I can do this. And that is really the great lesson to learn. There's several things that are real important lessons to learn. The biggest one is, after you read it through once, break it down piece by piece, you can start working with it. All right, is this, Michael, is this a same side or an opposite side situation? Right. What are 2x's plus 1x? Nice. 3x plus 1 equals 25. Then I'm going to minus 1 to both sides. 3x is 24. Then I divide by 3, and I get x is 8. Am I done, Elizabeth? No. First number is 8. What's the next number? Charles? Charles?
Oh, X plus 1.
And if x is 8,
Oh, 9.
very good. Okay. So now, 8 and 1 make 9. The two numbers are 8 and 9. Yes?
Isn't it supposed to equal 25?
It says twice the first. So 8 twice is 16 plus 9, and that does equal 25.
Oh, I was confused.
No, that's a great question to ask. All right, so now what we just did is we talked about catching up on the last sheet.
A minute.
I want to go to today's question, which is about a rectangle. The length of a rectangle is 3 more than the width. If the perimeter is 34, find the dimensions. First off, we're talking about a rectangle. So I draw a nice, pretty little rectangle. Now, this wants to know the dimensions. The dimensions are the length and the width. So, it says the length is 3 more than the width. Does anybody here know what the width is? No, I don't either. So, you know what letter I'm gonna choose for width? This almost makes sense. Width, W. Now, the length is 3 more than the width. How would I write the length?
Oh.
3 more than, what would I write? W, but we want to learn that order. More than, switch the order. Last shall be first, first shall be last. W plus 3. Cross that off. The perimeter is 34. What does perimeter mean? Everybody? Add up all the sides. So this guy plus this guy, the W and the W plus 3, plus this guy, what's this guy going to equal?
W.
And what's this guy going to equal?
W plus 3.
So I'm going to do plus another W plus another W plus 3 has got to equal 34. So the big thing with these perimeter problems is draw the picture of the rectangle, let width be the W, and then just start filling it in. 3 more than W is W plus 3. Now, is this a same side or an opposite side? Kevin, stop doodling. Is this a same side, Kevin, or an opposite side situation? Same side it is. I have a W, another W, another W, another W. Kevin, how many W's do I have?
4.
Good, 4W. Jimmy, I have a 3 and a 3, both positive. Altogether, what's 3? A 3 and another 3. What do I get? What'd you say? Volume, up. 6, good. 4W plus 6 is 34. Alan, at this point in time, we do not start throwing guesses into the page. So, minus 6 minus 6. 4W is 28. Divided by 4. W is 7. So I come over here and I write 7. What's the other side going to be? 10 it is. 7 plus 3 is 10. Now, check it out. If this is 7 and this is 10, 10 and 10 is 20, and 7 is 27, and 7 more is 34. So it all adds up. Okay. Tomorrow when we come in, we caught up a lot today. Tomorrow when we come in, we'll do this last number 2 and then the new sheet. Oh, actually, you know what? Tomorrow we start pre-test for the test. So we're going to do a pre-test Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then a test on Friday.
Your birthday.